Night in the African savanna is not a time for sleep. It is a time when the laws of logic and familiar light cease to apply, giving way to primal instincts. And in this thick, sticky darkness, a sound is born that can never be forgotten or mistaken for anything else. It is not the noble roar of a lion, making the earth tremble in respect, nor is it the stealthy whisper of the wind in the thickets of dried acacias. It is a mad, choking cackle that turns the blood cold and sends an electric jolt of horror, as ancient as humanity itself, down the spine. As if the devil himself, in a fit of hysterical amusement, is celebrating another victory over life. For millennia, we humans have built a wall of contempt and myths around this sound. We have designated this creature as nature's ultimate villain, a symbol of cowardice, cunning, and uncleanness. In our fairy tales, the hyena is an eternal traitor, a poor imitation of a dog, doomed to eat the rotting scraps from the table of true kings. Hollywood adaptations have only cemented this image. Slouching, dirty scavengers hiding in the shadows, incapable of a fair fight. But what if I told you that everything you believed is a lie, dictated by our fear of their difference? Look closely at this silhouette in the moonlight. Before you is not a garbage collector, but one of the most high-tech survival machines ever created by evolution. The reality of the savanna is far harsher and more honest than our myths. Did you know that spotted hyenas themselves kill up to 90% of what enters their stomachs? While lions, those very same noble kings, often do not hesitate to steal prey from others. The hyena goes out to hunt as a flawless strategist and a ruthless athlete. They are the only ones in the wild world who dare not only to challenge a lion pride, but to look the king of beasts straight in the eye, forcing him to retreat step by step into the shadows. This is not a random clash of two predators. It is an eternal trench war for resources, where the hyena uses intellect, where others rely only on claws. We will begin this journey by breaking down the paradox. Why did nature, in its striving for perfection, create a creature whose brain developed along the same astonishing and complex path as the human brain? Hidden inside this massive skull is the prefrontal cortex, the center of decision-making and social planning that places the hyena on par not with dogs, but with higher primates. This is not just a beast driven by hunger. It is an analyst capable of calculating risks, recognizing hundreds of peers by face, and coordinating the actions of an entire army in pitch darkness. Today, we will tear the mask off the laughing devil and look into the abyss of its true nature. We will see not a cowardly scavenger, but a genetic masterpiece whose triumph is based on absolute efficiency. Prepare yourself. This laughter is not a sign of madness. It is a signal that the most honest and resilient predator to ever walk this scorched earth has taken the stage. And believe me, after what you learn, you will never be able to look at a hyena through the same eyes again. This is a story of a power that does not need our love, because it is beyond our understanding. A story of the triumph of intellect in a world where, seemingly, only brute force rules. Listen to this laughter once more. Now you know, it is no joke. It is a declaration of war against all your stereotypes. If we strip the hyena of its shroud of myths and look beneath its coarse, spotted hide, we find not an evolutionary error, but its crown, a biological blueprint brought to the absolute in the laboratory of natural selection. To begin with, the hyena is the greatest optical illusion in the natural world. Looking at its slouching silhouette, you see a dog, but the genes say otherwise. Hyenas belong to the suborder Filiformia, cat-like carnivores. At its core, it is a cat trapped in the body of a resilient canid, absorbing the grace of a strategist and the power of a tank. And this duality makes it invulnerable. Let us look inside this beast's chest. Here lies an engine that any sports car would envy. The spotted hyena's heart is not just a pump. It is a massive power plant, accounting for about 1% of its total body mass. This is twice as much as a lion's, and significantly exceeds the parameters of most predators. In a world where life is measured by the speed of a pounce, the lion is lightning. He is swift, but quickly fades. The hyena, on the other hand, is in relentless tide. She is capable of running for kilometers, maintaining a speed of 50 kilometers per hour, until her victim's lungs turn to molten lead and the pursued animal's heart simply refuses to beat from exhaustion. The hyena does not just catch up to her lunch. She wears out death itself, turning the hunt into a grueling marathon in which she has no equal. Her blood, supersaturated with oxygen thanks to her enormous heart, allows her to maintain mental clarity and precision of movement at the very moment when other predators are already collapsing from heatstroke. But the true magic begins where the hunt ends and the meal begins. Notice her jaws. These are not just teeth. This is an industrial hydraulic press hidden behind black lips. If the lion is a surgeon with a scalpel, selecting the choice cuts of flesh, then the hyena is a recycler for whom the concept of waste does not exist. Her bite pressure reaches unbelievable figures, exceeding 900 kilograms per square centimeter. To help you visualize this, imagine a multi-ton truck pressing down on each of your bones simultaneously. For a hyena, the femur of an adult buffalo or an elephant's bone is merely a hard cracker, where other predators leave a skeleton behind, considering it useless stone. The hyena sees a concentrate of calories. Her premolars are conical, specifically designed to crush rather than cut. With the characteristic sound of splitting wood, the hyena cracks open tubular bones, reaching the most valuable part, the bone marrow, the most nutritious resource in the savanna. But it is not enough to crush the bone. It must be assimilated. And here we enter a chemical laboratory unparalleled on the planet. The hyena's stomach is a veritable cauldron of acid. The acidity in her digestive system is so high that it can dissolve tooth enamel, horns, and hooves. She extracts life from what everyone else deemed death. The hyena is the only predator capable of fully digesting bone, leaving behind only white, calcium-rich droppings. She is the planet's perfect filter. She returns minerals to the soil, leaving nothing behind but clean space. However, the biological shock arrives when we turn to the matter of sex. The savanna is a territory ruled by the most severe matriarchy on Earth, and its foundation is laid in a hormonal anomaly. Female spotted hyenas are nature's super soldiers. They are larger, more aggressive, and more muscular than males. But the most astonishing secret is hidden in their endocrine system. During fetal development, female embryos receive massive doses of testosterone that are several times higher than the levels of this hormone in males. This biological solution turned females into machines of dominance. Externally, a female hyena is virtually indistinguishable from a male. The excess of testosterone led to the masculinization of the genitalia, forming a so-called pseudo-penis. This unique and painful evolutionary solution made the female the absolute mistress of her fate. Among hyenas, mating is impossible without the complete, voluntary consent of the female. Biology simply left the male no chance of coercion, but a terrible price must be paid for power. Giving birth through this narrow canal becomes a lethal trial for the female, often ending in the death of both mother and firstborn. Yet nature deemed this sacrifice justified for the sake of creating the most cohesive and disciplined society in the predator world. Testosterone makes female hyenas fearless. While other predators might hesitate in the face of danger, a hyena, driven by a hormonal cocktail, pushes straight ahead. This explains why a lone female is capable of scattering a pack of leopards or engaging in a fight with a young lion. She is not just protecting herself, she embodies the will of the clan. Backed by biological armor, where every muscle fiber and every drop of blood is tuned to a single goal: dominance at all costs. Look at her now. Before you is no absurd creature with a crooked back. Before you is an athlete with a massive heart, a chemist with a flawless metabolism, and a warrior with the hormonal programming of an elite special forces unit. The hyena does not need a mane to be majestic. Her majesty lies in her ability to thrive where others starve to death, and to find sustenance where others see only dust. This is the triumph of pure function over empty form. Every detail of her body, from the tip of her ear to the serration of her tooth, is a masterpiece of engineering, designed to laugh in the face of hardships that would destroy anyone else. And this laughter, as we now understand, has very solid grounds. Welcome to the clan, a place where the instincts of a loner end and a highly complex chess game, spanning a lifetime, begins. If you thought hyenas live in a disorderly, chaotic gang, driven only by hunger and rage, prepare for this illusion to shatter into dust right now. The community of spotted hyenas is not a pack. It is a highly organized state whose social structure is so refined and intricate that in its complexity, it places these predators on par not with dogs or cats, but with higher primates, chimpanzees, baboons, and even humans. Here, under the burning sun of Africa, the most severe and flawless matriarchy on the planet has been erected. In the hyena clan, power belongs to the females, and this rule is absolute. But this is not simply the right of the strong. It is a complex system of inheritance and status privileges. Imagine a scene that seems absurd for any other species. A huge adult male, scarred from dozens of battles and weighing nearly 70 kilograms, submissively presses himself to the ground and whimpers, making way for a tiny, newly born pup. Why? Because this pup is the daughter or son of a high-ranking female. In the world of hyenas, the mother's social status is inherited as reliably as a royal title in the monarchies of Europe. Even the weakest offspring of an alpha female stands higher in the hierarchy than any, even the most powerful, adult male. Males in the clan are eternal outcasts, aliens whose status is always at the lowest tier. To enter a new family, they must endure harassment and beatings for months, proving their loyalty and submissiveness before they are allowed to even touch the remains of a meal. But do not rush to feel pity. This rigid discipline turns the clan into a single, monolithic organism capable of incredible achievements. When it comes to intelligence, hyenas force scientists to rewrite biology textbooks. There is a famous cognitive test for cooperation. Two animals must pull two ropes simultaneously to gain access to food. A lone individual is powerless here. Chimpanzees, the recognized geniuses of the animal world, spend hours learning and often fight, unable to reach an agreement. Hyenas, however, solve this logical task almost instantaneously, without any prior training. They feel their partner with their skin. They read a peer's intentions by the slightest movement of an ear or turn of the head. This is not just instinct. It is the capacity for strategic planning and the understanding that the group's success is your personal success. But how do you manage a society that can number up to 80 or even 100 individuals scattered across a vast territory? To do this, hyenas created their own social network, operating in an audio format 24 hours a day. That very same famous laughter, which seems like a sign of madness to us, is in fact an incredibly complex encrypted report. Scientists, having analyzed the spectrograms of these sounds, discovered an astonishing thing. A massive amount of data is embedded in each giggle. By the pitch, frequency, and rhythm of the laughter, any hyena within a radius of several kilometers understands exactly who is making the sound.
what that individual's social status is, their age, and their level of excitement. This is a veritable digital passport broadcast to the entire savanna. Furthermore, hyenas possess a phenomenal memory. They are capable of recognizing over 100 members of their clan by voice and scent, even if they have not seen them for several months. Their brain, especially those regions responsible for social interactions, is enlarged. There is a social brain hypothesis, suggesting that intelligence develops not for food gathering, but for survival within a complex collective. And in this sense, hyenas are true professors of psychology. They know whom to flatter, with whom to form an alliance, and whom to suppress. Within the clan, intrigues are constantly woven, and coalitions are created to overthrow leaders or seize more advantageous positions at a carcass. This is an endless game of thrones, where a single mistake can cost you your place at the trough, and therefore, your life. A hyena's intelligence is her primary weapon, far more dangerous than her teeth.
It is the ability to act as a single mind while remaining a vivid, cunning, and calculating individual. When night falls and the clan gathers together, this collective mind awakens, turning a group of scavengers into an army against which even lions are powerless. After all, against the brute force of a lion, the hyena deploys something greater, an organized system where everyone knows their place, everyone hears everyone, and everyone is ready to act according to a script written by the supreme mind of the savanna. Look into these intelligent, assessing eyes. She is not just looking at you. She is analyzing, classifying, and drawing conclusions. And in this game, she is always several moves ahead. When the sun sinks into the dusty haze of the horizon, painting the savanna in the colors of fresh blood, the world of the living freezes, yielding to those who truly own the night. At this hour, war begins. But this is no chaotic slaughter. It is a calculated, cold chess game, where the hyena plays the role of grandmaster. Forget about random skirmishes. We are entering the zone of a strategy of attrition, psychological terror, and tactical superiority, before which even the most formidable predators of Africa yield. The hyena's hunt is not the short sprint of a cheetah, which stakes everything on one card and is exhausted after 300 meters. It is a multi-hour siege. The hyena does not strive to be faster than the prey in the moment. She strives to be eternal. Using her giant heart as a tireless metronome, she drives her prey into a state of continuous nightmare. She simply follows like a shadow. 10 kilometers, 20, 30. The hyena does not give the prey a single second to rest, a single gasp of air, or a chance to soothe a pounding heart. This psychological pressure breaks the animal's will before its muscles fail. When a zebra or a wildebeest lapses into a stupor from exhaustion, the hyenas are already there. They do not wait for the finale, they dictate it. Look at how they work with the giants of the savanna. A buffalo weighs nearly a ton. It is a living mountain of muscle and lethal horns. For any other predator, this is an unjustified risk. But for the hyena clan, it is a calculation task. They circle the herd like surgeons looking for a microfracture in a monolith. The slightest limp, a barely perceptible glitch in breathing, the scent of an old wound, hyenas read weakness instantly. Having found a target, they begin to shake the defenses. This is the work of a collective mind. While some distract the buffalo's enraged herdmates, others land precise, sharp bites to the tendons. They do not engage in a frontal attack. They methodically dismantle the colossus for parts, turning his power into his own curse. But the pinnacle of this nocturnal drama is an eternal, irreconcilable confrontation that has lasted for millions of years. Hyenas against lions. This is not just competition for food. It is a total war,
for the right to be the supreme judge of these lands. If the lion is the embodiment of brute, blinding force, the hyena is intelligence multiplied by numbers. Lions fear hyenas, and this fear is justified. When a lone lion or a pair of lionesses clash with an organized clan, they understand. Before them are not dogs, but an army. Hyenas use tactics of encirclement and acoustic suppression. Their laughter at the moment of collision is not hysteria. It is a battle cry coordinating the attack. They approach from behind. They bite at the heels. They wear down the king of beasts, forcing him to make mistakes. And it often happens that the lion, abandoning his prey, flees into the darkness, pursued by the mocking laughter of those he is accustomed to despising. When the battle is over and the prey is vanquished, another unique trait of these creatures manifests. They are called surgeons of the Savanna, and this is not a metaphor.
A spotted hyena is capable of butchering a zebra carcass in a matter of minutes, with an efficiency unavailable to any other creature. Where a lion leaves half the meat and all the bones, a hyena leaves nothing. She processes death into pure energy. With a crunch resembling the tearing of thick fabric, her jaws turn skulls and spines to dust. In 30 minutes, the clan can completely dissolve an adult animal within itself, leaving not even a bloodstain on the grass. This is the absolute end. No waste, no chance for parasites. This is their survival strategy, to be the most resilient, the smartest, and the most efficient. In a world where every resource is worth its weight in gold, the hyena has learned not to waste anything. Every movement, every sound, every bite, everything is subject to the great logic of victory. They do not simply survive in the savannah, they rule it through attrition and tactics, proving every night that in the wild, the true pinnacle of creation is not the one with the thickest mane, but the one who knows how to wait, plan, and follow through when everyone else has already given up. Watch as they dissolve into the dawn mist. The war is over, but only until the next sunset. The savannah is clean once more, and in this cleanliness lies the supreme credit of those you have for so long considered merely cowardly shadows. Our prejudice against this beast is rooted in deep antiquity. In those times when human was only learning to separate light from shadow, we are used to judging the greatness of nature by the splendor of a mane or the grace of a leap, leaving the hyena the role of an eternal outcast, stuck in the purgatory of our memory. But history remembers other times. On the ancient bas-reliefs of Egypt, in the dust of the tombs of the pharaoh's era, strange scenes are captured. Humans attempting to domesticate hyenas, using them for hunts, and even fattening them for sacred rituals. The ancients saw in them not garbage, but something sacred, understanding that behind the strange appearance hides an intellect capable of dialogue. Today, this dialogue continues in the narrow alleys of the ancient Ethiopian city of Harar. Here, as twilight descends upon the city, something happens that violates all the laws of biological fear. Hyena men call clans out of the darkness by name. Enormous predators, capable of shattering a human skull with a single motion of their jaws, meekly approach their feeders, accepting meat directly from their hands or even from their mouths. This is neither training nor slavery. It is an ancient pact of non-aggression based on mutual recognition of strength and utility. Hyenas clean the city of waste, guarding it from epidemics, and humans pay them with respect. In this tiny enclave, the myth of the dastardly scavenger crumbles to dust, yielding to the image of a wise neighbor. So, why does the rest of the world persist so stubbornly in hating them? The answer lies in our own weakness. It is hard for us to accept a creature that does not care about aesthetics, that does not try to appear noble. The hyena is the living embodiment of the nothing superfluous principle. She does not waste energy on empty beauty. She invests it in absolute survivability. Her slouch is a readiness to spring. Her laughter is the language of the mind. Her appetite is a great mission to clean the planet.
They are nature's great alchemists, capable of turning death and dust into pure life. Where the lion leaves decay, the hyena leaves cleanliness. They are the sanitarians of the earth, those who stand guard over ecological balance, preventing the savanna from turning into a graveyard. Locked within their jaws is not rage, but the supreme justice of natural selection. Look at the hyena one last time, casting aside Hollywood filters.
In her eyes there is no madness. There shines a calculating and ancient intellect that witnessed the rises and falls of civilizations. The beauty of nature is not always in a golden hide or a proud profile. Sometimes it is in flawless surgical efficiency, in the ability to run when others fall, and to find a resource where the rest see only void. The hyena does not need our love. She is far too self-sufficient for that. She does not seek sympathy and does not ask for understanding. She demands but one thing: recognition. Recognition that before us stands the most honest, resilient, and perhaps most successful predator to ever share this planet with us. Next time you hear their distant laughter in the night, do not shudder with terror. Know this: it is perfection itself laughing, confident that tomorrow will belong to her once again. Let this laughter remind you that true strength needs no decoration. It simply is, merciless, efficient, and absolutely alive.